One of the coolest things about offstring style yo-yoing is that a lot of the coolest tricks that you can do, at least in their most basic form, are not really that difficult. And so once you have learned how to do your basic throw, you have access to about a dozen really awesome tricks that you can learn right away. But of course that means that first of all you just need to learn how to throw the yo-yo, catch it on the string, and bring it back. And so in this video I want to equip you with all the tools that you need to get started learning all these great and relatively easy offstring tricks by teaching you how to wind the yo-yo up and how to get your first throw, catch, and bind return with an offstring yo-yo. So the first thing that you want to do when you get an offstring yo-yo is you are going to have to learn how to wind it up the first time. Now we will be teaching you some fast winds for offstring yo-yos in a future video, but if this is just your first offstring yo-yo, it's not that different than any other yo-yo. What you want to do is you just want to place the string on the side of the yo-yo just like this, pinch it with your thumb, and then start winding. Now you don't want to wind too tight, you don't want to wind it as tight as you can, and you also don't want to wind it super loose. Just have a really nice even wind all the way through. You can wind the string right into the gap of the yo-yo just like you would with a normal yo-yo, and that should set you up for your first throw. Now I say should because there are some things that can go wrong with offstring style yo-yoing, but even if your first throw doesn't work, it probably wasn't the way you wound it up, it was probably the way you threw it, so let's just get right to that. So in order to throw your yo-yo, you do want to hold it in your hand the same way that you would with a traditional yo-yo with the string going over the top of the yo-yo, and you are going to release the yo-yo the same way that you would release a forward toss like in two-way style yo-yoing. And so if you haven't learned that trick, you might want to learn that with a looping style yo-yo first. But you know, if you don't mind winding up your offstring yo-yo a lot, it's perfectly fine to learn it here. All you're going to do is you are going to turn your hand over, so the opposite way you would your normal throw, turn your hand over, swing your hand by your side, and then release the yo-yo as your hand is moving forward. Now with a normal forward toss, you're going to throw the yo-yo directly in front of you. With an offstring style yo-yoing, you want to angle it up so that the yo-yo is a little bit higher so it can fall down into the string and then you can catch it. Now as you're throwing the yo-yo, what you want to do with your opposite hand is position it in front of you like this, because what you want to do is throw the yo-yo in such a way that the string will intersect with this hand. And what that allows you to do is to immediately grab onto the string and then extend it toward the yo-yo so that you can open the string up and catch it. Now, when you are grabbing onto the string, don't pinch it right away. You just want to loosely hold it, mostly so that it doesn't fall down. And then again, as the yo-yo leaves the string, then you can extend it out. And when you're trying to aim for the catch, what you want to do is you want to use the hand that is closest to the yo-yo to aim. And it's a lot easier to catch the yo-yo near one of your hands than it is to catch it right in the middle. So if the yo-yo is kind of far away from you, then you can catch it near your opposite hand. And if you throw the yo-yo so that it comes in very close to you, then you can catch it with near your yo-yo hand and you can kind of aim that way. And that will just make it a little bit easier. So once you have thrown the yo-yo up, you have grabbed the string, you've extended it out, and you have caught the yo-yo, the first thing you need to do is celebrate because that's awesome. And then the next thing you need to do is figure out how do you get the yo-yo back. And it actually works almost exactly the way you would expect. So what you're going to do is you are going to take the end of the string right here, we could call this the tail, and you are going to throw it right down into the gap of the yo-yo so that it swings around and wraps around the yo-yo, and that will allow the yo-yo to come back. And just like a normal forward toss, you do want to catch the yo-yo with your palm up because this will set you up for the next throw. Now, the one thing that's probably going to happen right away, and it's going to surprise you, is that as you go to throw the yo-yo, it's not going to come off the string. And you know that it should, because it's not attached, you wound it up yourself, and yet when you throw it up, it's not coming off the string. And this is probably the most common problem, and this is going to be a reoccurring problem if you don't understand what makes the yo-yo actually able to leave the string, you know, besides the fact that it's not attached. So the understanding for this goes all the way back to the very first video that you probably watched when learning how to yo-yo, and that's just how to do a basic throw and get the yo-yo back up. And what you would have learned from that video is that what allows the yo-yo to come back up when you pull on it, it's not so much the pull, it's that you're adding a little bit of slack to the string. So if you give any slack to the string in a responsive yo-yo, that will cause the yo-yo to come back. And the crazy thing is that Offstring yo-yos work exactly the same. If you allow any slack in the string at any point in your throw, then that's going to cause the yo-yo to respond. And that's even true if you throw the yo-yo down. So if I throw the yo-yo down and pull up a little bit like I would with a normal yo-yo, it came back. Now what's happening there is the yo-yo is starting to unwind, but when I pull it back up and put that slack in the string, it winds back up, right? But what's actually happening is the top half of the string is wound one way, and the point at which it turned around and came back, at that exact point, the rest of the string is wound around the yo-yo in the opposite direction. So that means that on your second throw, the yo-yo is also not going to come off the string. And so you just need to keep that in mind, that anytime you do any type of throw and the yo-yo does not leave the string, almost always you need to clear it one time because of that thing that's happening where the string is wound around the yo-yo in two different directions. So if you keep that in mind, that will help at least part of the time when you're doing the trick. But the question is, how do you make sure that that doesn't happen on accident when you're just doing your normal throw? Well, the first thing is that kind of like we said, when you are throwing the yo-yo, you want to be kind of aggressive about it. You don't want to throw it soft, because if you're kind of soft in your throw, then you can see even when I threw it right there, there was some slack that built up in the string, and as soon as that affected the yo-yo, it came right back. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure to not allow any slack in the string whatsoever. But that might also cause another problem, that if you are throwing the yo-yo and you're just like really, really aggressive and you just throw it as hard as you can, the yo-yo may launch very, very far away from you. And obviously that's not what you want. And so how do you balance this out? How do you get it so that there's no slack, but the yo-yo still comes off the string? Well, the way that I do it is I make sure that I do give a really good throw, but about halfway through the motion, I stop my hand from moving. And you can see that even though the yo-yo is continuing to come off the string, I've paused my throw hand. And what that does is it keeps the yo-yo from moving forward. If I were to continue and kind of follow through with my throw the whole time the yo-yo is leaving the string, that's what makes it launch far away. And so if you stop your hand, then that allows the yo-yo to pretty much go straight up, and that allows you to catch it a little bit easier. Now, another thing that you can do, and this is just a little bonus tip, which this might make it more difficult at the beginning, but you'll want to remember this. You can actually pull back on your hand just a little bit as you throw it, and what that'll do is it functions kind of like a ripcord, where even though the yo-yo is out of your hand, it's going to accelerate the yo-yo and cause it to spin a lot faster. And what's great about that is it also pulls the yo-yo back towards you, and so it will keep the yo-yo closer to you instead of moving away from you. And you can see that it came back toward my yo-yo hand. That's because I pulled back on it. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's spinning a whole lot faster. And so that's another way that once you get better at the trick, you can do that. But, you know, if you're pulling back on the yo-yo, we already know that if you pull on the string, it causes it to come back, right? The key to this is to have a very, very smooth motion. If you pull a little bit in like a jerky fashion, or if your pull is kind of sudden, then that will also add a little slack to the string and make it come back. And so any manipulation you do with the string as the yo-yo is leaving the string, it needs to be very, very smooth. But if you can get it just right, you know, in the beginning, you probably just want to pause your throw and allow the yo-yo to come off. That should make it go straight up. But as you get a little bit better, you might even want to pull a little bit, and that will accelerate it and make it go as quickly as possible. Now, once you've sorted out your throw, the next thing that might be causing you some trouble is getting the yo-yo to bind consistently. And there's also some other problems that can come up with the bind, so we'll get into some detail here. So like we already said, what you want to do is you want to take the end of the string and you want to throw it down into the groove of the yo-yo. Now, what you might not be really comfortable doing at first is that you want to do this while you swing the yo-yo away from you. And the reason that you want to do it with the yo-yo swinging away is that makes sure that you don't have any slack in the string as the yo-yo is winding up. Now, if you're feeling a little bit timid and you don't want to move the yo-yo away from you, even if you can get the yo-yo to bind, which is going to be tricky all on its own, chances are it's going to be a pretty uneven bind because the string isn't going to be really, really tight in the gap. And if you have an uneven or kind of a loose bind, then when you throw it, some of that slack is going to come out. It's going to make the yo-yo come back, and it's just going to be really irritating. But if you have the yo-yo moving away from you, which is what you need to do, then sometimes, especially when you're practicing, it's going to slip right out and you're going to miss your bind. So how do you deal with that? Well, first of all, make sure that you give the string a really good throw into the groove of the yo-yo so that you can get multiple wraps of string around the bearing. But what's really crucial is not what you do with your opposite hand, it's what you do with your yo-yo hand as you're performing the bind. So what you want to do is you want to get the yo-yo moving away from you, throw that string into the groove, and then immediately you want to pull just a little bit, and I mean a real small amount, back away from the yo-yo. And what that's going to do is it's going to accelerate the end of the string so that it wraps around more quickly. Now, you pull a very small amount, and then immediately you move your hand slightly towards the yo-yo. Now, you know that if you move your hand towards the yo-yo, that's going to give it some slack, but in this case, that's what you want, because you want the yo-yo to come back once enough wraps of string are wound around the yo-yo. And so that really quick motion of just a really small pull back and then pushing your hand forward, which opens you up so that you can catch the yo-yo, then that's all that you need to get much more consistent binds as the yo-yo is moving away from you, and that'll make your binds tighter, which will make your throws a whole lot more consistent. So if you just work on all the techniques that we talked about in this video, you will have your throw, catch, and bind with your Offstring Yoyo pretty quickly, and then that's going to open you up to a whole bunch of different tricks. So that is the Offstring throw and bind.